welcome to our show. I'm Mitch, and this is Topo.
Hey, it took a while to get to this episode, but here we are.
It's a special time. Atari is celebrating its 50th anniversary.
A great time to be an Atari fan.
That's right, Topo. And in this show, we're going to showcase a very awesome console, the Atari 5200. So back in the early 80s, with the success of the 2600, Atari brought the gaming culture into the living room. Other companies wanted a piece of that success, and they stepped up their games to compete against Atari. With this mounting competition, Atari felt they had to introduce a higher-end console to complement the 2600 as a response.
Even though the Atari 2600 was still selling gangbusters, but level up they did.
So, interesting fact. In order to get the Atari 2600 into production, Nolan Bushnell sold Atari to Warner Brothers back in 1976.
Which gave Atari the cash to produce the 2600, and it personally made my daddy rich as shit.
And with Nolan Bushnell no longer calling the shots at Atari, they chose not only to sell in the video game market, but also in the home computer market. There was a whole slew of new companies to compete against. They started a computer line in 1979.
Yes, the computer line was awesome and it would last up until 1992.
So the first computer was the 400 and the 800, which at the time had some of the best graphics compared to the competition. Anyhow, when Atari decided to make a follow-up to the 2600, they used the technology from those Atari computers. They even used the same chassis as the 400 computer for the 5200. Let's bring out this bad boy. Nice. This is a sleek 80s futuristic looking console. This is one of the earlier models which had 4 ports. Later on they would make another version with only 2 ports. This console is large and in charge. It is the superstar destroyer of video game consoles. They included all this storage space up top here. Here's a multi-card I have that enables you to download all of the original games, all onto an SD card. Let's put it in here. So here are the controllers. A lot more intricate than the 2600 joystick. There are 2 action buttons, a pause button, a bunch of numerical keypad buttons. Pretty advanced for its day. They also made this amazing trackball controller for a couple of their games, and it is top-notch quality. It's great.
Let's play one game using the controller and another using the trackball.
Here's a nice game called Galaxian. You know, it's a basic space shooter, really fun. It's an updated version of the same game from the 2600. here is Centipede, a classic game from Atari. This trackball makes this probably the best port of this game from the second generation.
Good fast action.
That spider, each round gets more aggressive and tries to feck with you. This was one of the last consoles of the second generation. This console, like the ColecoVision or the Intellivision, sold a respectable amount, but nowhere near the mammoth hit the 2600 was. The 5200 had to compete with the 2600, but it did not give it the backwards compatibility till later on in its life when it gave it an adapter. It also had to compete with the Atari 8-bit computer line without giving it their full library either, even though they were compatible. Still, it was moving units.
Until out of nowhere, the video game crash in 1983.
And then this fledgling industry that had been around since '72 suddenly seemed like it was dead.